Tennessee, there is two systems of justice. One for you, the mass populace of Tennesseans, and one for the rich. As we look at the beautiful American flag, where we still have the right to turn things around through the vote, we're going to talk about that this morning. Welcome, Charles Van Morgan Show. Let's get to it this morning. We're going to actively participate in the court system because regardless, you still have to do what is right through the system, fight through the system appropriately, even when it doesn't do right sometimes. As a Christian, that's what I believe. Let me get this in here. And that's exactly what we are doing today, fighting the system through the court system. We're going to go down here to the federal courthouse and file additional papers in our lawsuit because we won a motion against the state of Tennessee, against the crooked state. Hallelujah, we actually won a motion. We're going to talk about that some. So welcome, come on in. For you today, we're going to talk about the corruption in state government, specific incidences, tie it together, explain to you what they're covering up and what the news actually means, what the crimes actually mean, because some people get prosecuted and some people don't. Why is that? We're going to explain that to you from a sociological perspective, from your perspective that nobody wants to talk about except me. And we're going to give you details and explain to you what the details mean. What they mean is the system of justice goes to the highest bidder in the great state of Tennessee and all throughout the United States. And what you need to do about that is continue to use the courts. Don't use violence. That's what I'm doing today. I practice what I preach and also vote. So let's see if we got this on right. Everybody come on in. Welcome. It is, so we got a few people in here. It is the Charles Van Morgan Show. So we're talking about the two different systems of one's justice for them avoiding real justice, their system, and then the other is injustice for you. See what the courts do, and we're going to show you a specific case that illustrates this. If you didn't do anything wrong, nothing wrong at all, the Tennessee court system will have false allegations made against you, facilitate them by a rogue dirty judge, backed up by an appeals court, saying false, defamatory stuff about you, charge you money, make you pay for their inflammatory false information about you, with you having no real chance at defending yourself, drag you into court on false information, while the party that's dragging you into court is an adulterer and a deadbeat dad and a perjurer and a liar. And you are pictured as somebody evil when you haven't done a damn thing wrong, criminally or civilly. So they persecute personalities that stick up and fight them, which is what they did to me, and somebody that's rich, powerful. And you didn't know this, most people do, but I'm going to show you a specific case that illustrates this. Somebody rich and powerful has sex with another man's wife, gets her pregnant not once but twice while she's married to another man, employs the lady's mother. So you see a little conflict of interest. You know, it could be, I'll fire your mother, let's have another kid, while she's married to somebody else, and has a hell of a lot of money, has ties to Governor Bill Haslam, in that was the owner of the Nashville Predators, sold it to Bill Haslam. You know, the rich selling stuff that we could never buy to each other. So this, and I'll give you names, this man was sleeping with another man's wife while he was married, had 2 children with her. Not like Arnold Schwarzenegger, he had 1 with his maid. This is even worse than that, the Tennessee. And you know, he made the governor of Tennessee. And he's out, Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's hired a professional, and I'm not talking about him in Tennessee, I'm talking about another man. Did my church, had 2 children with another man's wife. Arnold Schwarzenegger slept with his maid and was the governor of California, and he's not even an American citizen. Wasn't born in America. He's an American citizen, wasn't born in America. I'll clarify. He was an American citizen when he was born. And he went on to be the governor of California. Lied his way all the way to governor of California. So if I don't win elections, I'm competing against some really good people, right? So if I don't win, that doesn't mean I'm bad. It probably means I'm the best for the job, and I may win. And if you win, it don't mean you're better than me. You could have deceitfully gotten the governor's mansion, because that's pretty dirty while you're married. And he was married to the Kennedys, that were able to fight and get this stuff out, or you probably never would have heard about it. Because Arnold Schwarzenegger is rich and powerful, but his wife that he was going out on while he was the governor, sleeping with his maid, was a poor lady. You know, his maid, what a disparity in the power mechanism there. Sleeping with his maid, he made it all the way to governor. So just because I don't win don't mean I'm bad, and just because the person that wins, they're not good. You know, and putting the truth out may convince people, hey, maybe we need to look beyond what's on the news, what's out in the public persona, even what the damn court system says, and look at the real value of the person running for office, and not listen to what we're told to listen to. And that is the whole thesis of this whole channel. Decide for yourself, and most people do. That's why this show's so popular. Think for yourself. Decide for yourself. In America, they're not supposed to charge us with thought crimes. We can think whatever the hell we want to think. Now, if you're a Christian, you're supposed to think on good things and be positive about things. But it is positive about things from this channel's perspective to criticize evil, to point it out so that we can do better. So this is a positive show. The thesis of this show, think for yourself. Don't let them tell you what to think. So like and subscribe to the channel, share it. And we're going to talk today about the disparity in they're called justice system. I call it an unjustice system that's biased and lying and dirty and crooked as hell. And that's not a negative thing to say, that's a positive thing to say, because we need to know that. We need to know that so that we can vote them out. Where when we file lawsuits or when we're accused in the court, we get a damn fair hearing, because you won't get one right now. You won't get one for the most part. If you go against the state in any manner, Governor Bill Lee, the Speaker of the House, Cameron Sexton, Randy McNally, they win every damn time. The Supreme Court wins every time. The Attorney General wins every time. Because of the wonderful things they do, like the Wizard of Oz, hell no. It's because they're all in the same ring of power. The Supreme Court appoints Mr. Smut, the Attorney General of the state of Tennessee, who's fighting me today. I'm fighting him in court. I'm not fighting him the way they fight. They fight violently. They're violent people. I'm not saying Smut does, but people in the state government, part of the judiciary, has been very violent towards me at times. I've got it on the record. They'd like to kill me. Why? Because I'm violent? No, because I'm peaceful. I'm a peace-loving person. I believe in self-defense, though, but Yeah, they'd like to kill me. One of them chased me down the road. It's well documented. I documented. Of course, they won't. They got flock cameras everywhere, but when they do something, it's not going to be on their flock cameras. If you don't do anything wrong and they can construe it as you doing wrong on their flock cameras, and you can manipulate surveillance big time, then they will. They'll do whatever the hell they want to do. They've done told you that. That's what I'm telling you. They won't tell you that. They're telling you that in the things that they do. They're not going to come right out in the public and say, hey, we're going to do whatever we want to do. If we want you to go to jail, if we want to ruin your character, if we want to take your life from you, then we'll do it. That's what we'll do. They're not going to come out and say that. They don't say that. They say you did something wrong, and we're going to put it on a court document to make it look legitimate. And when somebody that's got billions of dollars, millions of dollars, does something wrong, has sex with another man's wife while he's hiring the lady's mother, has not one but two, and has a lot of money, and he seals the court records, his divorce court records, because his wife finds out, then they seal the court records of why she's getting a divorce, and he's able to buy a judge's silence to seal the records. That's money buying silence for somebody that's a repeat adulterer. Now, you got to give him credit. He tried to pay the dad off. I don't know if he paid child support. Oh. He should have to pay damn child support. But that's what they're doing in the crooked state of Tennessee. The rich get closed sealed records, and you could get, I have been personally drug into court when you did nothing wrong except for stand up against them, because it didn't happen before. It didn't happen before. So you can tie it together if everything's just fine until you stand up against the government for the public good, and then all of a sudden you get defamed all over the world and the court just substantiates a lie, and then you stand up further because you're not backing down. The truth matters, has weight and value, and you don't fear man, you fear God. And then they try to even make it worse numerous times. You know, hey, cause and effect. And I'm telling you, I know it's cause and effect, because that was the reason, and I did nothing wrong, and they'll do it to you unless you got $1 million to seal the court record. And it has to be fought out in court to open a court record that should have already been opened. Why did the judge close the record? Because it was a millionaire that bought a closed record because he didn't want people knowing that he slept with another man's wife, had 2 children while he was employing the woman's mother. A little bit of conflict of interest there. That's what the rich do. Where the poor, me and you, and even middle class, even upper income, you don't have a chance in their game. You don't have a chance, and that's why I'm here speaking to you, telling you the truth, the facts, and we'll show you the facts. Tie them together, put my truthful take on it. And you can think whatever you want to think. I don't tell people what to think. You can lead a horse to water, you can't make them drink, and a lot of people don't drink. But I'm going to tell you, this is the God's honest truth, and I'll show you exactly what I'm thinking. Won't be no question, and you can make up your own mind about how the court system in Tennessee specifically and all across the United States treats the mass populace of people in the state of Tennessee, you and me, as opposed to their millionaires and their billionaires who own their injustice system to clear them and convict you. They commit thefts, crimes, heinous stuff, and in the beginning, never get before a grand jury, never get charged. You don't even do anything wrong. I know, and if they can rig it up, and they will, that you did, they'll charge you without even committing a crime, drag you into court, put it all over a judge adjudicated, it must be true. Give it the legitimacy of law by a judge adjudicating in favor of that. And people say, oh, that's absurd. Judges and court systems won't do that. That's absurd. And that is inflammatory, crazy rhetoric. And my answer to that is, you know, and this isn't conspiracy theory, but even conspiracy theories, you have to listen to them because some of them are true. Some conspiracy theories that people called nuts and extremist and inflammatory have been later found out after things come to fruition. Hey, that's the truth. That's how it really was. We should have listened and at least considered it. So I'm asking you to listen, consider this isn't a conspiracy theory. This is the truth. I know because it happened to me. So I know I've been walking and seeing and experienced the wrong of the Tennessee judicial system, who have wrote stuff that's flat out lies. And I was there and they write stuff and I think, well, and if I was just reading it from somebody from a distance, I'd say, man, he did that. But when you're there and you say, that's not the way that happened, that's a lie that judge wrote. And it seems so very convincing, you're like, man, and they get by with this garbage? And the reason I'm out here talking to you, this channel is for the purpose, not a conspiracy theory channel. I'm not Alex Jones. The reason for this channel is to warn you. I'm sounding the alarm. Not to go to war and fight these people violently, to stop them going to war against you and fighting you violently. And as a matter of fact, they're already at war to destroy you. I'm a prime example. They would love to destroy me. And I'm better, quite frankly, than any candidate that's ever been on the ballot in the history of the state of Tennessee. And I'm not just spaying the haze. Look at the numbers of lives I've saved on the Tennessee roadways. I mean, those are facts, not even disputed by them. And if they think I'll go along with their false lies and theories, they got another thing coming. They've tried and haven't stopped. And I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep putting out the truth. So subscribe to the channel, show you care about the truth, and we will fight them the right way with votes and in courts of law. And we're going to have to get a turnover in the court system before we start winning cases, or at least put enough pressure on them where people show these crooked judges that, hey, there's a price to be paid for these lies. You're going to have to start straightening up at least a little bit, or we're going to annihilate your credibility. We don't care what you put out in your court opinions. And if people think I'm talking about conspiracy theories, what about Plessy versus Ferguson? That was the ruling, separate but equal. Treating our children separate but equal in public schools was the law of the land. That was a crooked, corrupt law that said that black children, as long as they have a school system that's similar, it's okay to segregate them into schools away from white children. That's a racist law by the United States Supreme Court. And if somebody back in that day had stood up and said, hey, that's not right, that's a rogue court ruling by the United States Supreme Court, they shouldn't adjudicate that. That's false. That's wrong. There's nothing wrong with people having the same schools. It's wrong to segregate children. And that battle was fought, and now it's not conspiracy. That's just common knowledge. Why would you have a separate water fountain? But in that day, it was thought, hey, this is crazy stuff. We don't need little black children around us. That is the craziest thing I've ever heard. But that was, people would call somebody crazy standing up and saying that. And I'm telling you today, in May 2026, that this court system is doing things that is so very wrong against you, worse than Plessy versus Ferguson, because they said separate but equal. At least they gave them equal. They're not even giving you the rich versus the poor, middle class, or even upper middle class. They're not even giving you equal treatment. They're stomping on you and calling it justice. So my record was clear, and still to this day, never been convicted of any crime. And the Tennessee Board of Law Examiners has pedophiles that are attorneys that here in Knoxville. A member of the Knoxville Bar. Now, the court doesn't say that. It's charges of sexual conduct with a minor, but it's pedophilia. And I'm not going to mention names, but I've never been convicted of any crime. And they say that I'm not qualified to be an attorney. And that's what I'm fighting today in court, and we're going to go file some papers. Now, I'm not violent. I'm telling them what they're doing, trying to take away my First Amendment rights. So everything was fine. Everything was fine. Beautiful world. I was out kissing the ring. I voted for Bill Haslam. I thought he was a good man. He presented himself as wanting to go into the ministry, was a wannabe pastor, but he decided to go into politics. I thought he was a good man. He got governor over the state of Tennessee, and my supervisors left, and they started doing dirty, crooked, underhanded stuff to me, preventing me from protecting the public. And I stuck my head up and complained, and I should have. And filed a complaint against 2 supervisors in the Tennessee Highway Patrol, justifiably, for doing things wrong, lying on me, facilitating false complaints about me. And one of the people in the Knox County Sheriff's Department still works there, facilitating false complaints about me and lying about me. And I fight back. And filed a complaint against my supervisors. I was leading the state in drunk driving arrest, protecting the public. They told me that. Thank you for what you're doing. Letters handwritten from the captain. Awards given, not the top awards. The top awards were given to their sons and daughters and family members. But I was given awards for numbers, like you made more drunk driving arrests than anybody, which is life-saving. Other people were given Trooper of the Year, not because they did anything to protect the public substantially, because their daddy was a former captain. It's about the bloodline. It's not about who protects the public best. So everything was hunky-dory until I got some trash from Nashville, and both of them were trash from Nashville. They went to Nashville and went to their internal affairs, which teaches them how to kiss the ring and manipulate the stuff for people in power, and anybody that tries to stand up against the power and not protect the power, even when they're stepping over bodies, ignoring that as long as they stay in power, then you're good. Investigate stuff that's directed at exonerating people in power and crushing anybody that doesn't kiss the ring, that doesn't worship the elite. In state government, you better do that, and as a citizen, you better do that. And even if you do, and this is the huge problem, you can't get along to go along. Even if you do, if they need you for a number, then they'll take it and you'll be demolished anyway. And you say, what the heck, I was trying to do right. I was trying to obey them. I thought they were right. That won't work either. The only thing that'll work, quite frankly, is listen to me, subscribe to the channel, and file lawsuits and vote them out. No violence. That's what they hate about me. They'd love for me to say, do something violent. I'm not going to say that because I don't believe in that. They do. They do. That's why we need to vote them out before they lock us up, get us killed. So everything's going beautifully. And then I got some liars and trash from Nashville's internal affairs training. Ken, related to other people in state power. Imagine that, related to power, put in power. That's what it is. Do you know somebody in state government by blood? If you don't, they're coming to get you. If they need to, if you don't work hard enough for them, provide for them. So you want to spend your life providing for people in power, you better get you 2 jobs to pay their mortgages for them and their kids. I mean, I know they've said it. one of the persons in my law school, one of the professors that's a judge, said, well, I always have to support my son. His son is of age and is a lawyer, but he doesn't practice law, and his daddy claims that he still provides for him. Is he always going to have to provide for him? And the truth is, no, he's not going to always have to provide for him, because you provide for him, because your tax money pays the judge to pay his son to go to strip clubs. So that's the way it works. A contract professor at Nashville School of Law that's also a judge on the Tennessee Board of Law Examiners, and he gets money off tax money and provides for his son that's in his probably 30s now, that has a law degree but doesn't work because his dad pays for him. But his dad gets money from us, tax money, for being a judge and adjudicating wrongly. That's how they do things. I know, I've seen it firsthand. I don't have to read a paper. I don't have to read their lies. You can read a paper and see what it says. It's totally wrong. I'm telling you what happened, because I was there, been there, done that. They tried to kill me, but they didn't get it done. They're not going to get it done. It's not going to happen. The angel of the Lord protects people, and he will, and only for God's purpose does he allow somebody to be taken off the planet. Man doesn't decide when people die. I mean, you can have a great military and shoot somebody with a nuclear weapon. If God don't want them to die, they won't die. That's God's providence. Life and death is in God's hands, not theirs. And I don't believe that's in God's providence for me, at least not today. But staying in God's will, you don't have to be in the will of the government. You don't have to be in the will of the government, you have to be in God's will. So everything was hunky-dory until they sent those trash from Nashville. The trash from Nashville, and I'll call them trash, they are trash. And both of them aren't in the state government as far as the law enforcement in the Tennessee Highway Patrol. One of them still is, but he got taken off the road as a trooper by a mysterious, very tragic accident that killed him, but they revived him. So I think, that's your warning. Lionel Russell and Major Stacy Heatherly were the people that came back from Nashville, worked together, were friends. And they came back, my supervisors left, came back and started their abuse of the Knoxville district and me, and didn't care anything about public safety. And I made them look bad, made their flunkies look bad going out and doing my job. And that doesn't matter. You don't have to do your job. You have to worship them. And I tried to get along. I tried to get along with them. Believe me, go along to get along. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. I wouldn't try it. Take my word for it. Save you some time and trouble and effort. Don't try to get along. Vote them out, because it's not going to work. File suits against them. Try to go through their court system. It'll start working if we start putting enough pressure on them. Join the channel. Subscribe, and even you can stay surreptitious. You ain't gotta fight on the front line. I'll do that for you. They done put me on the front line. There ain't no place for me to go now. Lead the fight for right, and that's what I'm glad to do. But they started filing false accusations against me, and one of them was from the Knox County Sheriff's Department, where Lowell Russell, who's over Law Enforcement Training Standards Commission in the state government now, got elected because people feel sorry for him because your tax money paid for his campaign road signs that are still up today. He's a great person. No, he's not. No, he's not. His brother's a sergeant. He didn't get promoted to sergeant. I think he's a lieutenant now. He didn't get promoted to lieutenant because he was out saving lives and property. He got promoted to lieutenant because his brother's in state government. It's a bloodline. Coy Russell, yeah, I mean, has he ever done anything to benefit the public that's real? No, he got promoted getting your tax money because he drives around a highway patrol car with bars on, not enforcing rules of conduct on his own people, because there's somebody in his county that's getting a federal lawsuit for a false arrest. He's not doing his job. He's above rules and regulations. They all are in state government. That's what we're fighting against. So he complained. He made a complaint against me. A 3-year-old complaint, Lil Russell initiated from a corrections officer at the Knox County Sheriff's Department, a line corrections officer. They want more money. I would give them more money if they did their job. Why would you give them more money when they lie and damage the public, cause people to get killed on Tennessee roadways? I wouldn't give them more money. They need a cut in pay. And I don't give a damn who the sheriff is. I'm not afraid of him either. And I'm not saying to fight them, file lawsuits against them if they do you wrong. Don't trust them. Don't trust law enforcement in this city. There's some of them that are good, but I'll just tell you what they did for me. I ain't got to read the paper. It wasn't even in the paper, should have been. I'll tell you what they did. Knox County Sheriff's Department. Now, this new sheriff needs to correct it. Whether he will or not, I don't know. I know what I'm going to do, regardless of what he does. I'm going to stand on a public sidewalk and tell the truth. If he don't like it, he better damn well lump it. I got a right to be out here. That's my constitutional right, and I will defend myself. So that's his message. And so you do me, and I'll do me too. I mean, you stand up. You got a lot of votes, and I met him. I wasn't impressed. When you talk to me, you stand up. I mean, you know, is he that damn lazy? I don't know. We'll see how he does. But I got a complaint 3 years earlier with my sergeant, Sergeant Bobby Clevenger, a sheriff's deputy, alleged in the Sally Port, where there's cameras all over the place, that I pulled the gun on her. I mean, that's what she alleged. Now, I did not do that. That is absolutely false. I mean, really? That's the craziest thing I ever heard. They were getting citations flying out of the detention facility. And not for me. I was too busy getting drunk drivers, really dangerous people. And that wasn't the area that I patrolled, but they were getting citations from a trooper for speeding. It's flying out of the corrections over there on Maloney Road at a high rate of speed, and the trooper was sitting out there writing corrections officers tickets for going way over the speed limit because they've been allowed to get by with it. Excessive rates of speed, dangerous. While they're guarding criminals all night, dangerous people, they're flying out of the Maloneyville Road detention facility at a high rate of speed, law enforcement officers that are protecting the public. If you went down Maloney Road today, they'll probably run over you, about rear end you. Why? Because they know they can. You better not, but they do. But some trooper was writing them tickets, so they got mad at the State Highway Patrol because they had to obey the law. Wow, imagine that. Law enforcement officers. And not all of them are like this, had to obey the law. But I'm just telling you, setting up the scene why they complained on me and what happened and why I'm in the position I'm in. While I was out protecting society. No, they don't say that now, but they did then until I defended myself. I'm just talking about defense. You don't have to go after them, they'll come after you. The best thing to do is go after them, meet them before they get to you, and vote them out and sue the hell out of them. And I'm a walking example. I'm going down to the federal courthouse today. I won a motion. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Fighting works. Cowardness will get you killed, get you in jail. You'll end up having an accident in a core civic prison. They'll call it an accident because they had 15 of them in a year's period. I mean, what the hell happened? They fell off a bunk? No, 15 accidents. Yeah, I don't believe that. 15 additional or a large part of them murders. Let's see how many people got in here. So yeah, we got a few. Over 100. Thank you all. God bless you all. I appreciate it. Help me get this message out. Nobody wants to say it. God chose me. Thank you very much. I'll be glad to tell the truth. Speak the truth to power. You all are the power. They ain't got no power. They got just a few. That's why they lie to you, to make you believe in their lies, drinking their Kool-Aid. But I got some dilutant will dilute it down with the truth. So they made a complaint against me. Knox County Sheriff's Department, corrections officer, made a complaint against me for, said I pulled a gun on him in Sallyport. If I did that, they got cameras all over the place. My sergeant listened to the complaint and didn't even take it. So frivolous. He just ignored it. I told him what happened, and he told me to start recording myself when I get to Sallyport. You'd think you could trust other officers when you're out doing right. He told me to start recording, even in the Sallyport. The corrections officer, to their credit, turned in the complaint to a lieutenant, called the lieutenant out after. And the lieutenant in corrections at the Sheriff's Department said, I'm not taking that complaint. Wad that up, throw it in the garbage. That's bullshit. You don't want to do that. And why she would say that, I don't know. Completely out of their freaking head. I think it's because those corrections officers get used to filing frivolous complaints against jail inmates. They'll say anything against a jail inmate, and their word is gold in that damn prison. All kinds of heinous things goes on in there. You hear about them beating people to death. It happens. They ought to be held accountable. So she thought she could expand that lying to a Tennessee state trooper. And if you wait long enough, you can. You can treat a Tennessee state trooper on the bottom of the rung the same way you treat a convicted murderer. You can lie on them, heinous, crooked lies, and get by with it. So she complained to Lion Lowell Russell 3 years after the fact. I mean, this lie happened 3 years before. He wasn't even my supervisor when it happened, but he jumps right on it. Jumps right on a false, frivolous complaint that he knew. He was just looking for an opportunity to destroy my character and fight me because I was making the whole Knoxville district look bad. Why is Charles Van Morgan the only one of the only few doing his job? We already got rid of Marty Nix, so let's get rid of Charles Van Morgan too. And they got rid of Marty Nix. He was in a pursuit where a car landed on his roof, risked his life, and they still got rid of him. He was out protecting the public with his own life at risk. They got sissified troopers now. People related to them that don't have to do their job, that are drunk on the job driving up down the road. So she complained to Lion Lowell Russell about a complaint that didn't even happen when I was on the road for him. He took the complaint, wrote it down, met her, and discussed strategy and how to get to me. Somebody that was lying said I pulled the gun on him, which didn't happen. If it did, where's the video? Of course, 3 years later, they're allowed to say, well, we got rid of the video. Yeah, right. So they're rigging stuff up. Lion Lowell Russell, your state representative now, sits out in Nashville over police officer standards. He's got the standards of a dirty, rotten, sick, pathetic liar. And he's a state representative. I don't care. I'll call out people that need to be called out. And it ain't out of maliciousness. He just get on his knees and make things right. Welcome, everybody. So we got a huge amount of people in here. Like, share, and contribute. And we're going to continue to tell you how the justice system has two separate railroads. A railroad for them to go straight to a pot of gold at the end of their rainbow, and you paid for that pot of gold. And a railroad for you where you really get railroaded, where they make stuff up and put it out in the public record that you didn't even damn do, and explain to you how the hell they do this stuff. And it's not conspiracy. I've seen it real live time and real action. You can believe me or don't, but if you stay tuned, you're going to hear it. because I'm not afraid to put it out. If something happens to me, I didn't have an accident, and I don't take unnecessary chances. So it's somebody from the state government, or one of their flunkies, or maybe murder for hire. I'm just telling you the truth. This stuff is bold, in your face, absolutely bold truth. So he took the complaint, wrote it down, and presented it to me of the allegation. And he was acting like he was on my side. Yeah, right. And friends with then Sergeant Stacy Heatherly, where she got promoted for lying and using state money, drunk using your money, your tax money, paid a drunk supervisor with the Tennessee Highway Patrol. She didn't need an Uber, she got her own ride. So they're conspiring against me. They got time to do that sitting in the office instead of fighting crime. They fight their own troopers all over the state. Hey, and they tell me, other officers know, this isn't something I'm not well acquainted with. The pressure in law enforcement is not, and Chief Malloy, you listen to this. This is the truth. I'm gonna tell you some truth. I know he listens to the channel, trying to get me to say something viral, but you listen to this. And maybe he'll listen, I don't know. He's done some decent things. They didn't have a murder for months in 2026. They had one the other day. So that streak has ended, unfortunately. But he is keeping that down. The pressure in law enforcement is not from fighting crime. Other officers told me this. I experienced this myself. That's what you do. That's what you're prepared for. That's what you lift weights. You practice ground fighting. You go to the range every year and you fighting real bad people that are really dangerous to society, that need somebody to confront them out on the street. That's not the stress. You're ready for that. The stress in law enforcement comes from the hierarchy, the supervision. That's who will get you. That's who will kill you. That's who will cause you to have a heart attack at an early age. That's who will run you off, make you unemployed, destroy your character. That's where the fear is. That's where the pressure stressor is from you. Treat your officers good that do good, and get rid of the ones that lie. Don't get rid of the ones that are complaining on you. Listen to what they got to say and maybe straighten it out sometimes. So they took the complaint. I wrote my answer. That didn't happen. Now what they were also mad about is I brought in a lot of dangerous people. Some of them thanked me for getting them off the road. They made a mistake. People don't intend to drink and drive sometimes. Alcohol is a drug. They get drunk. They never intend to drink and drive. They get drunk and they don't know they're drunk. It's a drug. It fools them and they think I'm all right to drive, and then they drive. It's a common mistake. A lot of people have driven drunk that ain't bad people. They made a mistake. It's really not that big of a deal if they don't kill anybody, and they should be arrested and have to stand before a judge and answer for that. But the penalties are outrageous for a simple drinking and driving. Now I know that's not a popular opinion. Let's keep getting harder. Let's keep getting harder on drinking and driving. But that hasn't worked. Has it worked? I mean, the fatality rate skyrocketed for you. Keep getting harder. The answer is to have a lot of more people arrested for that, leave people alone that arrest them for really being drunk, and slap people on the wrist the first offense, teach them, and most people won't do it again. The problem with DUI arrest is it's getting more money for attorneys, is what it's doing. They don't care if you're guilty or innocent. It's making attorneys rich. Of course, increase the penalties so people pay more money to hire an attorney to get them out of it. It's about the money. It's not about public safety. It's about getting lawyers and the judiciary rich. It's about teaching people who's the boss. The people in the justice system that are above it. So I brought a lot of people in for their own safety. I didn't agree with the harsh punishment. I tried to help people the best I could and saving their life out on the road. And more than anybody in the state, out of the goodness of my heart. Really drunk people, not like they're doing today, a lot of them thanked me because they knew they shouldn't have done that, and thanked me for it. And so I was doing a good thing. I'd have 2 and 3 a night sometimes. And the fatality rate was lower, statistically speaking. They've done studies all over the world. Scandinavia, Australia, America. The way to reduce people getting killed on the roads is for police officers to arrest drunk drivers, real drunk drivers, not people that are sober while the trooper's drunk, which is what's going on today. I've said if they stop me, I don't drink, they got a breathalyzer now, I'll tell them, I'll blow in the breathalyzer if you go first, because they're probably drunk. We have documented cases where they've been in uniform under the influence of alcohol on the damn job. That's not a conspiracy, that's fact. Now they won't tie it together, but they're arresting a lot of innocent people. I won't put you on here. I'm trying. So I got 111 people. That ain't bad, is it? Are you a UT student?
Oh yeah.
Are you? Where are you studying?
English and Russian.
English and Russian. Okay, yeah. They say people that know different languages are smarter than other people. I believe that's probably true.
Maybe just the ability to communicate with others. I think that's important.
Right. So I got 118 people on here. That ain't bad, is it?
Oh, really? That's
Yeah, yeah. I'm talking about. I got a degree from UT too. So.
What'd you study?
Sociology.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you know how the rich get richer and the poor get prison? Yeah, I'm fighting that. So evidently it's pretty popular.
Yeah.
But hang in there. That's a college education from UT is a great thing.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. I try not to get people on camera if they don't want to. But yeah, so he made a complaint against me with the sheriff's deputy's help, and I defended myself. And the state ruled at that time that I didn't do anything wrong. And the sheriff's department didn't discipline the lady for a false complaint. A heinous, despicable false complaint. Facilitated by Lionel Russell, your state representative now, who was elected in Monroe County by possibly a lot of neo-Nazis. They got a compound there. So he's got his base of supporters, prejudice. I'm just saying. I mean, you know, if I ran in that county, I wouldn't win because I'm not racist. But I guess if I went to Monroe County and said a lot of racist things, voted black African Americans off the representation, kept a white person, said a lot of racist things, I get a lot of neo-Nazi votes, and maybe in the House of Representatives for the state of Tennessee. I mean, your best candidate doesn't win. That's why you don't stop just because you don't win, just because you're not Lionel Russell, or just because you're not Arnold Schwarzenegger, or he says a lot of stuff, bad stuff about the President of the United States. I'm saying, with your character, you think people listen to you? I mean, these people, look at their background and see about whether or not you want to listen to them or not. Not what the court says. I mean, when you have a child bloodline that you've admitted to while you're married by your housekeeper, I ain't care about your moral ethics. I know your moral ethics. Out in public, it's one thing. What you do under the sheets, wherever your wife's at, nobody knows, speaks volumes about your nasty self. And that's what these people buy, a reputation. The rich people buy a reputation, and they slaughter your reputation in the court system. So I started fighting back. People say, how'd it work for me? Well, You know, I stand on righteousness and justice and trust in the Lord, and I'm still fighting them to this day, justifiably, rightly, and I'm okay, and stuff I care about's okay. So let's look at the beautiful view. Let's look at the beautiful view. So, I started fighting them hard. I made a complaint. Well, actually, Lionel Russell made another complaint against me. He said that I was staying over my shift, collecting overtime, and he was concerned that I was too tired to drive after I worked all night, and I shouldn't be staying over 7 o'clock. I should be going 10-7 because he was concerned about my driving. And it was out of concern the way he framed it, lying about me, because the reason that I stayed over shift, this incident he was talking about, was because he called me out to the Knox County scales to pick up his paperwork to take into the post right about 7 o'clock when I was getting ready to go 10-7. Instead of, and I had to go out there, follow his orders. He was my supervisor. He had to supervise one person, me. Lied on the one person he was supervising after I was gone, didn't have anybody to supervise. I mean, wow, that's amazing character, isn't it? And didn't have any substantial education, do what he's doing, a total dirtbag in state power, under their railroad that goes to the pot of gold that we paid for. Railroading us, a road they'd like for us to go to hell. But it's worked out well, if you ask me. I'm not working for them. I just switched the fight, we'll aim at them. I'm pretty good at it, I think. So he said that I stayed over the shift when he's the one that made me stay over the shift by asking me to pick up his paperwork. Lying on me, trying to rig it up, and then portraying himself as the angel of light, saying he didn't want me to stay over because I might be too sleepy and have a wreck. When he's the one that calls out, he could have drove his lazy self down to the post and turned in his own damn paperwork. Having me stay over the shift and then complain about me staying over the shift. That's what he did. Amongst other things, call me on the phone when I had a car stopped and they had a general order, you had to answer their state cell phone. And I would tell him, I got a car stop, can I call you right back? And he would say, no. You look at that situation in Blunt, the state representative now, over law enforcement that's supposed to protect human lives. He doesn't care about human lives. He's a sick, pathetic individual, and his brother's a lieutenant. Different system, different railroad. Theirs goes to the pot of gold. They're trying to send you to death the fast way, or in prison, or ruin your character. Where if you say something against him, look at what he did. He stayed over the shift. I stayed over the shift to do what I was told. I don't work for them anymore. That's not going to happen. I'll do what I want. Let him come out here to the sidewalk and try to stop a free citizen from speaking out against his dirty self. He's on television all the time. Got his right to freedom of speech, standing behind a government pulpit. Yeah, do you trust the government? They say that's inflammatory, controversial to say people in government power are crooked. I mean, it's not controversial. We know. We got you. We can smell you from a mile down the street around the damn corner. You're not hiding from anybody. You're controversial in saying that you're in government power and you're honest. That's about a crock of baloney. So, look what happened in Blunt County. Those officers, 2 of them shot, 1 of them killed. If that had been on the shift with Lionel Russell, he would have called them right in the middle of stopping that man. They'd end up shooting him, and they would have said, I got a car stop. The guy won't get out of the car, and we're having a difficult time. Can we call you right back? No. So they would have had to been dealing with Lionel Russell, which I had to, and the defendant that later killed 1 of them. He didn't care. He's the boss. Didn't know what was going on. He's got your cell phone number. You got to follow the orders. I mean, stuff like that is just outrageous. I didn't put up with it. That's my life. Lord Russell, I'm not dealing with that. I'm not dealing with it now. I don't have to. Over almost 4 million people coming up on. People are listening to me, liar. And it's not for me, it's for you. He's over Police Officer Trainings and Standing Commission. He's in government power. He's got power over you right now. And his ass ought to be behind bars. So I'm just telling you what happens in state government by these dirtbags. So he called me and put my life at risk, the false complaint. So I complained on him. And him and his buddies that weren't doing their job, they had plenty of time, conspired to get rid of me. And they damn sure did, didn't they? They damn sure did. And that was then, and even now, I can't get my law license because of these people in government power that get rulings against you, false rulings, judges lie, and then they're stellar. They go on to be well accepted, respectable people when they're not. They're not. So here's my civil rights suit that I'm filing today, and I won a motion against the state. Imagine that. That's a minor victory in itself, winning a motion against the state government. So right now in Tennessee, your cost of buying things, your cost of survival went up by 3.8%, cost of food and everything. Is your government helping? People in government power are crooked. Is that controversial? Go to the gas station today. Go buy food today. And it's not because of the White House. It's because of the governor's mansion in the state of Tennessee is the reason why. The White House is doing what it needs to do. The state governments aren't. So these people in power do dirty stuff, and nothing is on the record. And you do right, and stuff you do, stuff you didn't do is on their crooked record. That's what happens in the state of Tennessee. And we're going to show you how that happens. We're going to show you exactly how that happens. Now, Tennessee former House Speaker Glenn Cossida committed felonies. He was convicted of a Nashville jury, 17, 19 counts. 36, he was sentenced to 36 months in prison. And I'm not demeaning the president's ability to and right to pardon people of federal crimes, but the lady that helped get the conviction went to prison and he didn't. Amazing. Former state representative Robin Smith was a cooperating witness who flipped on Cossida and Cawthorn. She wore a wire. She testified. She described in detail how Phoenix Solutions was created at a bar in Middletown, Nashville, specifically to hide Cassidy and Cawthorn from security after the racist and sexist text message scandal made them untouchable. She described the profit split. Cawthorn got 30%, Cassidy got 25%, Smith got 20%. Now they established a fake company that got contracts with state government to mail the states their campaign flyers. They call them updates in what the legislator's doing. They're campaign flyers that you pay for. That's what they are. So he, through surreptitiously, got the state contract through a Phoenix company without his name on it. Still getting state money from still getting state money without his name on it after he had been kicked out of the legislature for making sexist and racist comments. Through his contacts, not through his hard work and dedication, through his contacts, illicitly covering up. And the lady that got him caught got sentenced to prison and served time in prison, and he never did a day. She described the profit split: Cochran 30%, Cassidy 25%, Smith 20%. She described personally pressuring a legislative administrator named Collie Riley to rush payments through, so these people that got kicked out of the legislature could get paid for putting out government literature, it's campaign literature for them. She described how she and Costa staged a fake confrontation on the House floor to cover their tracks in front of Speaker Sexton, Chief of Staff. So she was a representative, and another representative had similar campaign flyers, update legislator things. They were fake. They're fake campaign literature that's paid for by tax dollars that you pay them, they put it out. It's really their campaign. They're campaigning for themselves. They call them legislative updates. They should have to pay for that themselves. You pay for their legislative updates that have their name on it, talking about the wonderful things they did. That's a campaign flyer. I have to pay for my own. You pay for theirs. And Costa was getting a contract, state money, to put out the state's campaign information. They were similar, because it's the same company, to another one's campaign flyers. So that could make Cameron Sexton suspicious that, hey, these people have the same campaign flyers. Something's going on here, suspicious. So she staged a fake confrontation in front of Speaker Sexton's person in his office to try to make it think they weren't getting along, that it was just coincidence they had the same campaign flyer. Staging an elaborate scheme to cover up his getting a contract that he shouldn't have got. And staged a fake confrontation on House floor to cover their tracks in front of Speaker Sexton's Chief of Staff. And that's how elaborate the scheme was, to get money they weren't supposed to be getting. And they shouldn't be allowed to put out those flyers anyway. So Costa and Cawthorn were pardoned. The U.S. Attorney's Office told the court they had not identified another federal case in which a testifying co-conspirator reported to prison after an equally culpable conspirator was pardoned. So she cooperated with federal law enforcement authorities, and she went to prison. And the other two never served a day in prison. They didn't cooperate. We're trying to hide things. That's your two-tiered justice system for them and for you. The pardon precedent, anyone can walk now. Depends on who's in the White House. And every politician in the state who's been careful, who's been watching, just got the message. You can lie on federal forms, and if you build the right relationships in Washington or in the state government, somebody will make the phone call. That's the political environment we're operating in right now. They protect their own. Even if one administration hangs them out, when the other gets in power, you're free to walk, and the person that cooperated with justice for the public gets prison time. That's the message that's sent. Now, I'm not listening to the message. Fake training, real arrest. A ticking time bomb. So that's what happens in Tennessee. The judiciary, Judge Patty, the party moved first. Madison County General Sessions Judge Mark Patty was permanently suspended on April 15, 2026 for mental health issues. The official story is that he abandoned his docket. But look at the sequence. The political party chose what the justice system did in this case. That's what I think. The justice system doesn't act unless the political system tells it to. If you're in good politics, the justice system will leave you alone. When you get in bad politics and the political party acts, then the judge adjudicates against you like they're told, like they're ordered. So who runs who? The February 26, Tennessee Republican Party Chairman Scott Goldman removes Patty from the primary ballot for not being a bona fide Republican. So he's the judge on the bench, and the party removed this judge from the Republican Party, already sitting judge. They claiming that he's not a bona fide Republican. You know, what's up with that? He's a sitting judge. What made them mad about him? I don't know. Who did adjudicate against him? That was before any court action removed him. And then, February 27th, the Madison County Republican Party unanimously voted to reinstate him. So the Republican Party, where's that? Voted to reinstate him. The chairman over the whole Tennessee party removed him. Then his local party put him back on. So then they need the court system to solidify and get rid of him anyway. They have control of the court system. So March 31st, the Tennessee Supreme Court stands in line to the Republican Party in power. Chief Justice Crooked Bivens. Yeah, I said that. Crooked Chief Justice Bivens. Dirty thug judge. That's what I think. I'm allowed to say that. If he goes out and says he wants to make a public statement, he's got all the news channels listen to him, believing every word he says. I wouldn't believe a damn word he says. He adjudicates falsely. He adjudicates for the parties above the people. That's what they do. You won't hear that anywhere else. Charles Van Morgan, Unbridled News. Fighting them tooth and nail. When I pick up my cell phone, Chief Justice Bivens, you dirtbag thug, they told me not to say that. Does it sound like I'm listening? If it's the truth, say it. It helps Tennesseans. Vote him out when he's up for the retention election. Vote him out. He's not good for you. He's good for the Republican leadership, not good for Republican people all across the state. So he was voted out by the Republican Party, voted back in by his local Republican Party, and then March 31st, Chief Justice Bivens cites abdication of duty. So then the judiciary later cites abdication of duty. Board of Judicial Conduct permanently suspends him. But the party acted first, didn't work, so then the party leadership gets the judiciary to say, 10 Hut, we'll do whatever you say. I'm going to say this is a little extreme. Hell, Hitler, that's a little extreme, but you get the point. And then the judiciary acts. April 15th, Board of Judicial Conduct permanently suspends him. Patty's own defense, he had been setting bond by PDF email from jail submissions every week since June 2nd. And not one arrestee was unable to make bond. So he was saying he was doing his job. He didn't abandon his job. The party moved before the court. Why is that? Because the party's in control of the courts. The sequence matters, and the Madison County taxpayers are still paying his salary through September the 1st. The Republican Party kicked him off the ballot before the Supreme Court took his docket. That's the order operations. That's the sequence of power. They wanted him gone politically first. The mental health framing came later. Who in Madison County is sitting in a jail cell right now because their case fell through the cracks? That's the one human story that nobody asks about. While all these people at the top are fighting, what about the people that are getting adjudicated by the political party to go to jail? That's horrific. You say, did you go to jail because I committed a crime? No, I'm in jail because the Republican Party convicted me. I'm in jail because the Democratic Party convicted me. The judiciary acts. It's political. It's all political. You see the sequence of that plain as day. So that's the way that stuff happens. And we'll go on. We will progress about how there's two tiers of justice. So the Memphis schools, the worst audit in 45 years. Memphis school. The Tennessee Comptroller released an interim forensic audit of Memphis Shelby County schools on April the 1st, just a few months ago, 2026. Some of the worst I've ever seen in my 40-year career. The Comptroller, Jason Mumpower, called it the worst management of any organization he has reviewed. Memphis City Schools, Shelby County. And the numbers, and this is only 25% of the contracts reviewed. They had 1,145,909 confirmed waste and abuse cases. Excuse me, 1,145,900 confirmed waste and abuse cases. And now, I said the other day, erroneously, that the Tennessee budget is 58 million. It's 58 billion, excuse me. Poor, don't have a lot of money, thinks 58 million is a lot of money for the state. It's 58 billion, the state budget. This is 1,145,000 confirmed waste and abuse by Shelby County schools. By excuse me, let me get it right so I don't get sued. By the Memphis Shelby County schools. Okay, I got it right. 1,725,522 non-compliant transactions. Nearly 175 deficiencies identified. The legislature is now pushing to install a 9-member state takeover board. So they've stole over almost $3 million. Is kind of funny. Stolen, probably, in the pockets of people not going to Shelby County schools to help children. And only 25% of the issues have been looked into. A quarter. There's 75% more. How much more money is gone or missing or a little bit funny? And the legislature, are they prosecuting anybody? No. The legislature is now pushing for a 9-member state takeover board. 3 members each appointed by the governor, the lieutenant governor, and the speaker. The same 3 men who took core civic money, a prison that gives them money to get elected, are now appointing the board that will control the largest school district in Tennessee. So instead of prosecuting people, they're using the illicit money that was probably stolen for the most part, over $3 million, using it as an excuse to take more control over the Memphis County School District. The same people that say we're gonna make things right are running a prison where people are murdered, getting campaign money from the prison, funding the contracts to the prison, and now they're just using that as a means to take more power. Real problems in Memphis schools. I don't doubt it. But who appoints the takeover board? Bill Lee, Randy McNally, Cameron Sexton, the men who took $3.7 million from a private prison company and approved $244 million contract for it, are now appointing the board that controls Memphis public education. Watch who they appoint. Follow the money from there. Yeah, they're going to appoint people, give them jobs. State government taking over a county government, taking jobs, appointing more flunkies and cronies, not prosecuting people who should be prosecuted for the crimes. They're just putting another criminal element coming in there, in my honest opinion, making it legal for them to have more power to control more of your tax money for their own personal benefit, not for the kids. Martin Mayer. Steak dinners and first class Italy on your dime. In Weakley County, former Martin Mayor Randy Brundridge and Economic Development Director Brad Thompson, these are people who know about money. They know what they're doing. They know how to do it. It's like politicians know how to lie. Well, I'm unlying them. November 10th, 2025, less than a year ago, they were indicted for misusing $450,000 in city funds across a decade, 10 years. Nobody knew about that. Where's people looking into this stuff? They don't care. They're in the party, and the party protects them. The details are breathtaking. A single steak dinner for two billed to the city for $673. The state's per dinner meal is $61. So they exceeded that just a little bit, didn't they? Just a little crime. Doing that for 10 years. And first class airfare to Italy for a UT Martin alumni trip. Charged to the city card $5,600 plus. On the trips on your tax money. That's what these people in government power are doing for 10 years, getting by with it. Brandis' daughter, Natalie, a custodian at Martin PD, was paid $174,000 over 6 years for working approximately 2 hours of her 8-hour shifts for years, probably. City paid season football and basketball tickets to UT Martin games. City paid all AirPods. Controller Munpower used this case publicly. City officials must ensure strong internal controls are in place. Did they? $673 for a steak dinner, first class to Italy on the city card. His daughter getting paid full-time for working 2 hours a day. That's not incompetence. That's arrogance. That's not people. That's what people do when they're in power and they believe nobody's watching. In this case, the controller was watching. They did that for a decade. 10 years on the city and Amazon account. Former Gallatin City Person Agent Junior Smith, J.R. Smith Jr. in March 2nd, 2026, a few months ago, was indicted for using the city's Amazon business account, 133 personal purchases spanning March 25th through 2015 to November 8th, 2025. 10 years he's using the city's card to buy Amazon products for himself. 133 personal purchases spanning 10 years. Who's watching? He also evaded $1,128 in sales tax and pocketed business-only Amazon discounts. When he found out investigators wanted to interview him, he deleted his personal data from the account. He was terminated November 18, 2025, the same day he deleted the records. He then voluntarily started paying back the sales tax to DOR on November 25th. People in state power got their railroad to the pot of gold. Doing this for years. They do this for years and years, and some of them never get caught. These are people that have probably made somebody mad. The controller caught it. He faces tax evasion, official misconduct, and destruction of government records. 10 years, 133 personal purchases, and nobody caught it for a decade. Not a supervisor, not an auditor, not a department head. How many cities in Tennessee have the same thing happening right now at a much larger scale? The controller caught this one. How many don't get caught? So, Nashville, MHRC, $90,000 for a concert nobody came to. This is almost unbelievable. Former Metro Human Relations Commissioner Deputy Director Mark Etherly misappropriated $62,463 in public funds. He authorized $195,500 in unapproved. Saved the Morris payments to a historic building. According to these payments, nearly $90,000 to book Grandmaster Flash and Raymond Auditorium for July Renaissance 2023 fundraiser concert. So he paid $90,000 to book an auditorium for a fundraiser. At the same time, Beyonce's Renaissance tour was in Nashville Stadium that same day. Nobody came to the fundraiser. He spent $90,000 of tax money on a fundraiser. And the fundraiser got $890. The memorial building was sold to a private developer for 5 months later for $10 million. Eatherly was indicted November 13, 2025 on theft over $60,000, official misconduct, and money laundering. He used 3 shell entities to move the company. Now, this is what nearly $1,000 of public money for a concert on the same night as Beyonce. The fundraiser brought in $890, and then the building they were trying to save sold for $10 million to a private developer. There are some serious questions about where the sale money went and who knew what before the concert fiasco. A small nonprofit called STARS Incorporated, Training and Rehabilitation Services, received $5,796,840 from TennCare between July 2017 and June 2025 to serve people with developmental disabilities. Now we're talking about their little pot of gold on their railroad that goes to the pot of gold that they're getting for years and years. These are just the ones that got caught. What about the ones that didn't get caught? Millions and millions of them. Thank you all. Got almost 200 people in here listening. Thank you all. I appreciate it. Like, share, and comment, and subscribe. The controller found the executive director submitted fabricated invoices for $14,500 in payments to herself, timed specifically to cover a $10,000 court order settlement she owed to her former spouse. She also approved $312,225 in unauthorized employee bonuses, and she bought smartwatches for family members on the company card. People in state power stealing your money. She failed to file an IRS form, failed to file taxes for 7 consecutive years. They got hit with an $11,000 late filing penalty. The state kept sending them money for the entire time. So these are people over TennCare, getting TennCare money. TennCare money is supposed to go to people that need health care. I mean, a lot of people get turned down from health care for TennCare because TennCare don't have the money, because the money is going to people that are buying watches and things for themselves for years and years and years and years and years. And these are the ones that got caught. A lot of them never get caught. 7 years of missing IRS filings, no Form 990. The state kept cutting TennCare checks, nearly $6 million to a nonprofit that wasn't even filing its federal tax returns. That's not misconduct by the executive director. That's a failure of every oversight layer that was supposed to catch this. Who was supposed to be checking? We need to check at the voting booth. The government is failing you. It's failing you right here in Knoxville. The Next Step program is crooked as hell. Now I want to talk to you about one of the most important things that shows you how the rich get stuff they did wrong covered up, and you pay for stuff that you didn't even do. The smallest theft, largest theft, same state, same different rules. A football coach in Nashville stole $1,363 School sold tracking dummies to a resale store, charged 17 personal purchases to the school debit card. The school didn't even keep proper equipment records, so they didn't track everything he took. They didn't notify the controller for 45 days after finding out, which is against state law. So he took $1,363. They're prosecuting him from a school district. He got caught, he went to the controller, went to the governor, went to the DA. That's how it's supposed to work. $1,363. Now, the Memphis school system, same controller, same state, they've reviewed 25% of these contracts by the state, by the county government in Shelby County, and at Memphis Shelby County Schools, and already found over $1 million in waste and abuse. So that one man at one school district sold $1,300 being prosecuted. Shelby County School District, $1.7 million is spending. It doesn't meet this policy. $6 million audit paid for by the state. Documented mismanagement, allegations of records being destroyed, over 300 pages of findings. Nobody charged for a whopping $1.7 million. Somebody charged for $1,300. Why? Because in Memphis, accountability doesn't go to DA, it goes to a takeover board. And that board is appointed by Bill Lee, Cameron Sexton, and Randy McNally. The governor for 4 seats. The House Speaker gets 2. The Senate Speaker gets 2. 8 seats, 6 controlled by 3 men who took core civic money. That's not oversight, that's ownership. The football coach answered to the law. The people above him in Memphis answered to the machine. Same state, same week, same controller, completely different justice. Why aren't some of these people being prosecuted for $1.7 million? Because they're having a state takeover by people that run core civic that get campaign money. Wow. The ballot machine, the party that decides who gets to run before the vote. Scott Smith is not an elected official. He's never been on the ballot in his life. He spent his career working for Marsha Blackburn U. So he's big time now. Then Stephen Fincher, then the state Republican Party. He was elected to chair in December 26 by 66 people of the state executive committee. 66 people. And in February 2026, he sent one letter and removed 149 Republicans from the May primary ballot across Tennessee. 149 people removed from the ballot where you don't have a choice to vote on them. Yeah, make a lot of noise. The reason, fees, fines that are not in state. Fees the party created themselves, and a rule that says you had to vote in 3 of the 4 Republican primaries to be allowed on the ballot. They removed Hamilton County Mayor Winston Wamp. Hamilton County Trustee Bill Hollander was on the list. A Bradley County firefighter running for school board found out he was removed when his wife came home and saw it on Facebook. He said he qualified locally, submitted his petition in good faith, and nobody called him. He called it an unfair and unethical. He said it prevents grassroots candidates from serving on their community. These parties control the railroad that goes to their bucket of gold, which is state power. If you're not on that railroad, you're on my railroad. They're trying to kill you or put you in hell or put you in jail. So he's right. Then in March, Golden sent a second letter. 39 more candidates removed. Most of them were challenging Republican incumbents. Most of them were running against the machine's own people. One man decided twice. But I tell you something else. Who 3.5 million Tennesseans were not allowed to vote for it. Not a court, not voters, one man, a letterhead and a list. That's not a primary, that's a permission slip. And Scott Golden is one handing them out on behalf of the same machine that runs the prison, controls the school boards, and fights cameras in the dark. The voters of Tennessee never got to decide. The chairman decided that for you. The parties decide. Their railroad goes to a pot of gold, and you pay for the pot of gold, and your railroad you get railroaded to prison, or they'll try to kill you. They're trying to send you a railroad to hell. So let's talk about the case where there's an attorney in Tennessee, excuse me, a man in Tennessee that sold the Nashville Predators to Governor Bill Lee, Herb Finch. And the records have been released after a court battle. But Herb Finch is a millionaire, former majority owner of Nashville Predators, that he sold to Bill Haslam. He's a millionaire. Now, this is how the court system works for millionaires, and how it works for you are two different things. How it works for millionaires is they do horrendous, horrific, horrible, disgusting, pathetic things. Awful things. Despicable. And their record in a court case when somebody sues them for divorce is they pay a judge to seal the records where none of it gets out, unless somebody fights to open the record. Tiffany Monroe, mother, worked for Finch. That's how he got in the door. He had allegedly used that access to have an affair with the daughter while she was somebody's wife. He allegedly fathered 2 children in another man's marriage. So he's got a lady working for him, a millionaire. And he meets her daughter that's married, Herb Finch, and he has sex with her, fathers a child while she's married to another man, and he's married, and then has another one, 2 children while she's married to another man. That's sick and disgusting and pathetic. But he's a millionaire. So his wife, Finch's wife, divorces him. Of course. You're sleeping, having kids with, that's what kind of marriage is that? I think about somebody that complained on me running down my character. And he did. Filed an order of protection against me illegitimately. It's not a good order. There's no need for an order of protection against me. A social order of protection. And it all happened after I started running for governor. All these false accusations start popping up. One of them is a social order of protection against me. And the person that filed the social order of protection against me was like Mr. Herb Finch. He was having sex while he was married with another woman. Now, she wasn't married that I know of, but his name is Fred Goodrich. How you doing, Fred? First Amendment, if I'm saying anything defamatory, sue me. You'll probably win in your bought and paid court systems. I ain't got any money to give you. You already got my mother's inheritance. So the man that got a social order protection against me falsely, there's no need for a social order protection. I had 3 people that were there, 3 sisters that were there, said I did nothing to deserve a social order protection. It wasn't at his house. It was at my mother's house. And he wasn't even there. And so he is like Mr. Herb Finch having sex with another woman, got her pregnant, had a child. Fred Goodrich is a deadbeat dad, had to be sued in court to pay child support for his illegitimate child that he had between his 2 children to his wife he's married to. Now that's his character, and he's suing me in a Tennessee courtroom saying that he needs to have a social order of protection to stay away from me, when I never went around him, never would go around him without his permission. There's no need for that. It's a dirty lie. He lied on the signed civil papers that he swore under oath to have a social order protection served on me while I was out campaigning for governor. What a dirtbag. Like Mr. Herb Finch, the court system works in their favor to seal records to make you look like you're horrible when they're out having sex in between their children with a drug-addicted prostitute that they're refusing to pay for. Now, Mr. Herb Finch is better than him because Fred Goodrich had to be sued into court before he even took care of his illegitimate child. Sick, pathetic man. Sick, pathetic man. And a courtroom adjudicated falsely that I needed to have an order from a court to stay away from him. I'll stay away from him. Ain't no problem there. I mean, he's trying to come after me is the problem. He's dangerous. He beat up a mentally handicapped person that worked for him for almost free, that he was starving to death on his property, that law enforcement had to physically remove from the place because he was abusing him, beat him up. He'd like to beat me up. I believe in self-defense. No court order is going to keep me from defending myself. So this man, Herb Finch, is doing the same damn thing. President having sex with his secretary's daughter, 2 children married to another man. That's what these people that are challenging your character, that's what kind of character they have. So his wife divorced him, sued him in court. Of course, all this stuff comes out in court, but he's got a lot of money. So what happens? He fathered 2 children in another man's marriage, allegedly paid $400,000 hush money to bury it. Broke into Monroe's child support portal and paid $43,000 under a broke man's name to hide his own tracks. Then ran to court and had the whole file sealed, locked away from every Tennessean. So if you got money, your railroad goes to the pot of gold despite the disgusting things you do. You pay for a judge in Tennessee to seal the record, and they damn sure will on board every time. You got the money, they got the time. For us, mass populace of millions and millions of Tennesseans, if you ain't got blood in the game, a relative, or millions of dollars to give to them, you get false, fake, trumped up charges by a judge, signs papers, gives it the legitimacy of law that you done something wrong when you didn't do a damn thing wrong. That's what they do in Tennessee. They're crooked as hell. He got the record sealed, his divorce record sealed, for allegedly $400,000, but the record was sealed. The public couldn't find out the trash of his divorce. When you can go online and read the court's order against me wrongfully, I contested it, read what I said about it. The reason there was a social order protection is because he wanted my mother's inheritance, that he got most of it, and the judge that adjudicated got a lot of it. And the court's got a lot of my mother's inheritance, stole it from me. They will. They'll treat you like you're dirt, like you're a violent, dirty person when you're not. You're running for government office. That's the reason why. Because I was criticizing the judiciary, and I'll still criticize them today. I ain't learned a damn thing. Just because they punch you don't mean you need to bow down and take it. Stand up like a man or a woman and fight them back. The truth matters, has weight and value, and we'll cover that in the end. And I'm still fighting them today. I haven't learned a damn thing from them. They're not going to learn me to be afraid of them. I don't learn that lesson. That's not in my vocabulary. Fear God, not man. So he sealed the record in court, locked away from every Tennessean. The reason why I got a social order protection from a lying, deadbeat dad, adulterer that holds the Christian Bible up, Freddie Goodrich, and his sick, pathetic, drug-addicted wife that doesn't have a job, lives off Social Security. Got plenty of time to plan and strategize against somebody that's trying to help the public. Dirtbag, pathetic pieces of garbage is what they are. And I can prove it. Any man that won't provide for his own, that holds the Bible up, I mean, you read the book yourself, tried to skirt out of his illegitimate child from a drug-addicted prostitute, Fred Goodrich. He's a member of the Republican Party, and not just a member of the Republican Party, he's a member of the Republican Party, a part of it that actively campaigns for Republican candidates, knocked on people's doors. So when somebody's standing up, running for public office, criticizing the leaders at the top of the Republican Party, of course they don't like it. They'll try to ruin your character. People don't believe him. He needs a social order protection. No, I don't. I need a social order protection against Freddie, drug-addicted wife, deadbeat dad, dangerous, violent abuser. I need a social order protection against him lying in court papers under oath. He lied. He said he hadn't seen me in years. He seen me just a few weeks before and played his little chameleon. What a piece of trash. So he's trying to ruin my credibility. All of a sudden that happens when I'm running for public office. Wow, imagine that. And the courts give it legitimacy. Put it out there in the public. And this man, like Freddie, is rich, has an affair on his wife, 2 children, not one. It's not a one-day mistake. It's years of having children with another man's wife, sick, pathetic, like Fred. In between your 2 children, you're leaving your wife saying, I'm going out campaigning for the Republican Party. Or maybe he said, I'm going to church, I'm going to Bible study tonight. I'm going to Bible study tonight, Tammy. And then he goes and sleeps with a drug-addicted prostitute. I mean, if your mate says, I'm going to Bible study, you might want to check and make sure that they're not going to sleep with a drug-addicted prostitute, because he holds that Bible up and the Republican Party up too. The Republican Party's got their own damn Bible, and the Democrat Party's got their own damn Bible too. I'm telling you, don't believe neither damn one of them, because this is what they do in simple terms. They got a railroad that takes them straight to a pot of gold. Regardless of what they do on that railroad, it goes there every time. They're railroaded to the pot of gold. You're railroaded by them. You're railroaded, literally, the term as it means. Trying to railroad you to hell, railroad you to death, or your character ruin, while they're doing things that should ruin their character that gets them to a pot of gold. His record was sealed. And by $400,000, and regular people never, then ran to court and had the whole file sealed, locked away from every Tennessean after he did all this horrific stuff when his wife sued him for divorce. Regular people never got to vote. It took a newspaper filing a lawsuit just to crack it open. So people sued to have that record open. Chancellor and Marty finally said enough, no compelling reason to hide it. He did win though. How much the cover-up, his only win, how much the cover-up costs to stay secret. It was part of the record that's released is still redacted. 2 systems of justice, one for billionaires who own hockey teams, one for everybody else. And if you work for this man and know too much, he will fire your mother to shut you up. That's not justice, that's a boot on your neck with a Predator's logo on it. That's what they do in Tennessee. Two systems of justice. One injustice for you, railroaded, and one railroaded to the pot of gold. There is good news though. Amos 5 through 11, spiritually speaking. Therefore, because you trample on the poor and exact from him a tax of grain, you will never live in the storehouses you have built. You will never drink the wine from the lush vineyards you have planted. For I know that your transgressions are many and your sins are numerous. You oppress the righteous by taking bribes. You deprive the poor of justice in the gate. Ecclesiastes 5:8. If you see the oppression of the poor and the violent perverting of justice and justice in a province, marvel not at the matter. For he that is higher than the highest regardeth, and there be higher than they. There's higher than these people in public office. God knows and sees what they are doing, and they will pay for their wrongs. Here's Benson's commentary of Amos 5 through 11, 13. Other people, expert in the Bible, what they've said about this. People in government power on their railroad to their pot of gold, and they're railroading you, really. For as much, therefore, as your treading is upon the poor, it appears by this, that their acts of oppression were more than ordinarily proud and tyrannical. They were the effect of fraud executed with insolence, as the word treading and the subsequent clause added in explanation of it signify. And you take from him burdens of wheat. This expresses the most grievous inhumanity, implying that they took from the poor the very sustenance by acts of injustice and violence. Ye have built houses of hewn stone, but ye shall not dwell in them. God often threatens to deprive men of the enjoyment of their ill-gotten substance. You go on accumulating. You might not get to live in it. Colonel Tracy Trott got a lot of ill-gotten gains from state government power, dead at a relatively young age in his 60s. Imagine that. I didn't do it. I prayed. For I know your manifest transgressions and your mighty sins, your daring impunities, your sins for the first magnitude, such as idolatry and oppression, reproved in the foregoing part of this chapter. Therefore the prudent shall keep silence in that time. So great is the corruption of manners and such the insolence of power, that the prudent man, though he be vicious and abhor such things, yet he will incline to be silent. But I don't incline to be silent. Perceiving that his speaking by way of reproof or exhortation to others will only bring danger on himself and be of no real use. See, I don't think that my silence is the right way to go. I think that I need to speak out, and that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm not inclined to silence. I'm exhorting others, even though it brings me to danger. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel, and we're going to show you today I'm filing a amendment to my complaint, and I want a motion in court to file this amendment. The state is trying to keep me from even filing an amendment, and the judge adjudicated in my favor that I could file an amendment. So I'm filing this amendment today. The state tried to dismiss my complaint against them. I am fighting, unlike the railroad that they go to, I am fighting to get my law license. I went to law school, graduated, and I'm fighting justifiably through the court system to get my law license. I went to law school, very difficult times after I was terminated wrongfully from Highway Patrol. I was in law school when I was a trooper trying to get a legal education to get another career to get the hell out of that place. I had never had a chance to get promoted, no matter how many lives I saved. And it was a horrific place. And I was going to law school. They fired me while I was going to law school. Ran me out of the law school I was going to. I reapplied to another one. And they're still holding against me wrongfully my wrongful termination from the Highway Patrol, saying that I didn't tell my law school that I was terminated and keep them advised. And I did. That's a lie. The case wasn't even over until I was out of law school. So how was I supposed to tell them the outcome when it hadn't even, I had graduated, got my degree, was out of the school? But they lie. People in state power lie. I have never been convicted of any crime. People that were adjudicating that I'm not honest were convicted of infamous crimes. So I'm not on the railroad that goes to the pot of gold that you can do anything you want to and get whatever you want. I'm on the railroad with a lot of mass Tennesseans that they railroad us. All across the nation, they railroad us. Two different systems of justice. Somebody that's committed adultery, deadbeat dad, has got a court record against me falsely when I did nothing wrong. And somebody that's got $1 million, that's a dirtbag thug having sex with 2 children, has the record sealed. Well, they did something, the record's sealed. Well, I did nothing, they're putting a false record out there. So they won't give me my law license, so I'm fighting them in a court of law, appropriately, to get my law license. I'm not just talking, I'm walking. So I'm filing a federal lawsuit to try to get my law license. How dare one of the mass populous of citizens without $1 million or blood contacts in state government try to succeed and advance in life for the good of the public? How dare I do this? Well, they won't. They're trying not to let me. And if you go before their boards, they talk to you like you're a dog. You can listen to the videos. Well, I put the record on out for the public on the air, how they talk to people, not criminals, people that have graduated from law school, from their schools, cooperated, obeyed, passed the bar exam twice in my case, trying to get their law license. And they treat you like you're dirt under their feet. How dare a member of the mass populace try to be in with us and practice law and help people? Wow. Now, the last time I didn't let them do that. And the first time they did that, I took it in hopes that I would get along, go along. Had a lawyer, witnesses from captains with the Tennessee Highway Patrol, a lawyer, sat there and let them run over me while they were committing crimes at the time. They're attacking my credibility and honesty. And the second time I didn't let them do that, and I'm not going to let them do that again. I learned that lesson, and I want y'all to learn that lesson. Don't go along, get along, fight them, contest them. I'm not talking about physically fight them. I'm saying don't agree with them. They'll just make it worse. They won't consent. Don't consent. Fight them at the polls and in courts, which is exactly what I'm doing. Here's my lawsuit to the Board of Law Examiners, alleging that they violated, and they have, my right to due process and my First Amendment constitutional rights to speak out publicly, truthfully against the government. Now get this, my exhibit, my evidence against them is not my testimony, what I'm saying to them. It's their own damn memorandum of opinion against me, because they literally say the reason that they're not going to give me my law license is because when I ran for government office, I spoke out against the government, which is my First Amendment constitutional right. Because I spoke out against their crooked, I can't be a lawyer. Really? You want a lawyer that don't speak out against their own? That's what they want. They want a lawyer that speaks for them in their favor. You won't be in the end the Republican or Democratic lawyers unless you back them up against their horrific wrongs against humanity and society. They literally said, because I had been sued before and adjudicated in federal court as not being guilty, as opposed to a complaint that was never looked into. I'm talking about complaints made against me. People filed suit in federal court 3 times, one involving one incident. And I won every time. A jury and judge looked into the facts of the case, and they said that I didn't do anything wrong. So it was examined to the nth degree. The other side had an opportunity to stand up and say, hey, this is what we say happened in front of a jury. And I got the opportunity to say, no, this is what happened. I didn't do anything wrong. This is a false accusation against me. It's not true. And the jury believed me and other people that were sued in the same suit and dismissed after looking into. And the Tennessee Board of Law Examiners literally said on their memorandum of opinion that because I had been sued falsely, that I can't get my law license. So even if you win, you lose. You can't win with them. They won't let you. Your wins are losses because you were accused. Even looked into and exonerated, that don't matter. We're going to use your accusation against you. We're going to take that little molehill. Nobody likes to be accused, and lighten it up. And that's the only thing we're going to hold on to. We're going to exalt ourselves above a federal court. Yeah, right. And then get this. They also say in their own memorandum of opinion, that's my evidence against them, what they say themselves, they're so arrogant. They say in that opinion, blatant violation of the First Amendment constitutional right. We have access to the courts. If you have a dispute, you don't go out here and beat somebody up, shoot them, kill them. Don't do that. That's wrong. You deserve what you get when you do that. And believe me, they'll get you if you do that. They will get you if you don't do anything. If you give them a reason, Katie barred the door, your history. Don't give them a reason. But they are saying, because I sued the Tennessee Board of Law Examiners when they turned me down the first time in federal court, working it out Christian, legitimately. Now the Bible says don't sue your family, but you can sue the government in federal court when they wrong society, when they wrong you in society, when they deny you a law license for illegitimate constitutional violations. You don't beat them up like a judge chases me down the road, tries to. You go to court and sue them in court. These Tennessee Board of Law Examiners, judges, sue people every day. They have law offices. They sue people. They're not only boards in the Tennessee Board of Law Examiners, they're judges that have law practices that people come in, tell them, and they sue other people. So they file lawsuits every day. They have open access to the courts, but they don't want me to have access to the courts, and they don't want you to have access to the courts. Because they literally say, in their opinion, because I sued people in state government, because I sued people in state government, because I sued the Tennessee Board of Law Examiners, because I did just that, as they say on their written opinion, that I can't be a lawyer because I sued them in court. When they file suits every day, they're allowed to sue, use the courts to get on their railroad to the pot of gold, but you can't use on our railroad that's to hell that they want. We're not allowed to bring our accusations before a courtroom to argue it peacefully in a court of law. Don't even bring an accusation against them. They can bring them against you, but you don't bring them against them while they're committing crimes violating your constitutional rights. Leave them the hell alone. Shut up and take what the hell they give you. That's what they want you to do. I'm not doing that. That's not going to happen. That's my right. I'm going to exercise it. Your boot's not hard enough to keep me down. I have a right, constitutional right, to exercise, use the courts. And they literally said because I sued them before, couldn't have my law license. That's in their opinion. My exhibit is their own damn words. They're so arrogant. We can violate the law if we want to. You can't sue us. You can't ask for an injunction. So they told me because you sued us before, you can't have your law license. So what I do? Sue them again. Just because they tell you not to do something that's legally right for you to do, you don't have to listen to them telling you don't exercise your rights. Exercise them anyway. Your constitutional rights don't do anything illegal. So I sued them again. They told me you can't have your law license because they're not going to give them to me anyway. So what does it matter? I mean, they don't even understand that concept. You can beat on somebody so much that it doesn't hurt anymore. It's all right. I sued them again. When they say something about what you're doing lawfully, when you're lawfully doing it, and they say something about you doing it, don't do what you're lawfully doing, they're squealing like a pig. So when the pig squeals, hit them where you hit them again if it's legal, because it matters to them. So this matters to them, makes them mad as hell that I'm making them answer to their unlawful actions. How dare I try to get my law license like their kids get them, and their family members and their friends, and they give them to pedophiles in Knoxville. And people convicted of crimes. I've never been convicted of any crime. What I'm guilty of is standing up for righteousness and justice. And I'm going to keep on doing it. And almost 4 million people are listening to me, so thank y'all for listening to me. So I'm walking down here to the courthouse, filing this today against them for violating my constitutional rights, and there's a little more to it than that. And we're going to sign it and file it with the court, and y'all can come with me if you want to. We're going to file this. We're going to file this paper with the court, walk right down here to the courthouse, and turn it into the clerk's office. It is 9 pages of a amended complaint, and the state of Tennessee tried to keep me from filing it. They made a motion to dismiss my whole lawsuit, to get rid of it. And the judge, up to now, has ruled in my favor to allow me to amend my complaint and refile the lawsuit. And their major objection, the reason why I'm having to refile, the state's major objection, Attorney General Smutt, much younger than me, is complaining because I added additional amendment to my complaint, my previous complaint, which was Exhibit A, which is their memorandum of opinion, their own writing. I entered that into the court, that this is my evidence against the state, that they violated my rights, my constitutional rights. I added that amendment, which is their own memorandum. They don't want their own memorandum in the federal court, what they said. So that's the reason why, I said, I'll amend the complaint and add that exhibit on my amended complaint, what you said. And Smutt's attorneys, I hope I'm saying his name right, I'm trying, really. No, I'm not, I'm calling him Smut. But he's fighting me in court, try to keep me from practicing law. He's practicing law. His younger attorneys in the attorney's office are practicing law. But they want to keep me from practicing law. Well, I want to practice law. Excuse me, I don't want to rob a bank like one of the judiciary that ruled against me said I'm not honest, was robbing taxpayers at the time. I want to fight for the public. But they're fighting in Tennessee. Tennessee government is using their tax money to fight me right now, to keep me from helping you against them. That's what they're doing. So I could just lay down and take it, or say something violent, which I don't believe in, not going to do, or go down to the federal court and fight the hell out of them. Win or lose, I'm winning by fighting them. It's on the court record. Why isn't any news channel picking this stuff up? It's in Pacer system. There's all the news media. Because I'm fighting the news media, because they're part of the government. They're part of the government. They only give you what helps them, what helps the state. But it's on Pacer system if you want to read my complaint. The things they're doing are so blatantly obvious against the Constitution, trying to hide behind sovereign immunity. And I'm not suing them for money damages or to overturn the decision. I'll still have to retake the bargain. I'm suing them to try to stop them from continuing to violate my constitutional rights and your constitutional rights, because you can't sue a judge for monetary damages or to overturn a state decision, but you can sue a judge for an injunction to keep them from violating your constitutional rights in the future. You can do that in federal court. And that's what I'm doing. Trying to stop them from continuing to violate our constitutional rights in the future. Now that's allowed in federal court. That's not, they can't claim sovereign immunity. Hopefully the judge will go along with me. He has so far, so that I can retake the bar exam again. I'll take it, I'll have to pass it for the third time. It's this hard for me to get my law license. One of their friends or family, you think it'd be this hard? I've never been convicted of a crime. Some of their friends and family have been convicted of a lot of crimes. They got their law license. Why do I have to fight this hard? Because I'm on the railroad that goes to trying to destroy me. And they're on the railroad that has sex with other men's wives, has children with other men's wives, gets a divorce because of it, who wouldn't divorce their husband, and gets the damn record sealed. Imagine that. And I didn't even do anything wrong, and they got erroneous court judgments that didn't do anything wrong written against me in the public, but their records are sealed. This record isn't sealed. It's wide open to the public, ongoing federal litigation. I hope and pray that I win, even if I don't. You win by fighting them. You win by fighting right. They don't fight right. They don't fight fair. And that's what I'm warning you. So we're walking right down here to the federal courthouse, going to file these papers, sign my name to them, which is a declaration that all of it's true, and it is. It is. And they lie on court papers. They lie on court documents, sign their name to it, turn it in, because they're allowed to do just that. They're not held to a standard because they're on the railroad that goes to a pot of gold. They usually win every time. You say, why do you bother filing? Number one, because it's the right thing to do. That's the right way to handle it. Because I abhor violence, and I think you argue it out if you can in a court system, justifiably, honestly, and put it in God's hands. And God's the ultimate judge. I can't do anything about the outcome. What I can do is fight them. And the fun, a lot of times, they don't understand that's in the fight. The fun's in the fight. And that's exactly what I'm doing. So we're at the federal courthouse right now in Knoxville, Tennessee. If you think I'm playing, and they taught me how to do this stuff. Thank you very much. And they thought they would humiliate me. I'm not humiliating. They ought to be humiliated. I got 3 children by one wife, one mother, and it says no skateboards allowed. So don't say no microphones. And I'm an honest person, and these people are not. This judge in federal court has adjudicated fairly, and so we'll let it rest in the court and do what we can do. We'll throw the punch symbolically and see if it works out. That's all we can do. And so we got to turn off our camera, Howard Baker, United States Courthouse, and we will throw the punch and see what happens. So yeah. And
look right here.
We will go in here and file our papers. So thank y'all for watching. May God bless y'all. We'll go in here and file our papers at the courthouse. And God loves you, and I do too.